North Korean workers in China. Conditions are terrible. North Korean workers rioted. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. China and North Korea have a unique relationship. As fellow communists, there's definitely some mutual back-scratching going on. China helps North Korea evade sanctions. And North Korea sides with China on things like its genocide against the Uyghurs. They're really ride or die, as long as it's the Uyghurs that are dying. They even share a mutual defense treaty, but they definitely aren't friends. And nothing makes that clearer than the truly weird situation going on with North Korean workers in China. In January, in a sign of rare unrest, North Korean workers in China rioted. South Korea's National Intelligence Service says it's due to poor living conditions, including threats of starvation. Man, do you know how bad the living conditions have to be for North Koreans to complain about it? In one particularly notable case, 2,000 North Korean workers occupied a factory, took a political officer hostage, and killed the plant manager. So, communists seized the means of production from communists. Oh no, is this going to be the start of some kind of super double communism? According to Radio Free Asia, the factory they occupied was a medical manufacturing and seafood processing plant. Medical manufacturing and seafood processing. What could possibly go wrong? The factory was owned by a Chinese company, but here's where it gets a bit weird. The official they took hostage was North Korean. The wages were being withheld by none other than the North Korean Ministry of Defense. And that particular little piece of China is called the Yanbian Korean Autonomous Prefecture. Yeah, you heard me right. North Korea has an autonomous prefecture inside China, meaning that in at least one sense, the riot took place in a part of China administered by North Korea. Your local city's Chinatown has nothing on how North Korea operates within China. All of this is part of North Korea's forced labor program. It goes something like this. North Korean workers apply for the program. Only good little communists need apply. The positions are highly sought after because the wages are better than those in North Korea. Successful applicants are dispatched by North Korean organizations in batches to China and other places, along with political officers to keep a close eye on the workers. It's a tightly controlled situation.
After they arrive in China, managers confiscate their passports. If workers attempt to escape or complain to people outside the plants, their families at home can face reprisals from the government.
And conditions are terrible.
The work itself is relentless. Shifts at the seafood plants run 14 to 16 hours. Workers receive up to 1 day off per month, and few, if any, holidays or sick days. In seafood plants, the women sleep in bunk beds in locked dormitories, sometimes with 30 people to a room. Workers are forbidden from tuning in to local TV or radio, and from leaving factory grounds unaccompanied.
Did I say terrible conditions? I mean really terrible.
They also described a widespread pattern of sexual abuse.
Most of the money the workers make goes straight to the North Korean government, which is why in 2017 the UN passed a resolution banning foreign companies from hiring North Korean workers. Under the resolution, all North Korean workers were supposed to be repatriated to North Korea by 2019. And get this, China signed the UN resolution and didn't follow it. Where have I heard that story before? There could still be as many as 100,000 North Korean laborers in China, mostly in restaurants and factories. What makes things even tougher is the fact that many of these workers stayed well past their usual 2 to 3 year deployments, thanks to COVID border lockdowns. Some have reportedly worked for as long as 7 years. On top of that, North Korea has been paying some workers in IOU vouchers rather than cash, or not paying other workers at all. The North Korean government owes about $10 million in back wages to workers in China, hence the riots. Of course, justice was swift. While some workers got paid, over 200 who led the riots were arrested, and authorities repatriated about half of them to the north. My condolences to the families affected. To keep making China Uncensored, I rely on support from viewers like you. Paying my staff and keeping the lights on isn't cheap, and the CCP would love it if I had to shut the show down. That's why I need your help. All it takes is $1 or more an episode on patreon.com/China Uncensored. I make about 16 episodes a month, but if that's too much for you, you can set a monthly limit. So you could ensure I can keep uncensoring China for even $1 a month. And as a thank you to everyone who gives on Patreon, I'll answer one of your questions at the end of these episodes. And today's question comes from Inside. So all the eastern neighbors hate China, and now the southern/western neighbors also hate China. Who is left? I keep wondering if the CCP wants to take over the world, shouldn't they have at least one or two friends? Even Hitler had Mussolini in Japan. CCP leaders, why don't you get some friends and then use these friends to take over the world? And don't worry, you can always backstab them later when the job is done. Well, Inside, you're right that a lot of China's neighbors really hate them. Even North Korea isn't a fan. There's a saying among North Koreans, Japan is our enemy of 100 years, China is our enemy of 1,000 years. But that doesn't mean the CCP doesn't have friends. They have many friends, all over the world in fact. Here they are, influential American business leaders giving Xi Jinping a standing ovation at the recent APEC summit. Or take the case of the Solomon Islands. There were massive protests against Chinese encroachment, but because China had bought off the prime minister, that good friend signed the policing pact with China. It's amazing, really. The CCP lured foreign investment into China by promising access to the 1.4 billion person China market, and then used that money to buy off the global elite. Don't worry, the CCP will eventually backstab them. But this reminds me, a lot of you have been saying that it's next to impossible to search for China Uncensored on YouTube. You don't get notifications, or you've been secretly unsubscribed. Yeah, the CCP has a lot of friends. That's one of the good things about Patreon. In addition to providing the bulk of the funding I need to keep the show running, I upload episodes directly to Patreon, so it gets through all the YouTube algorithm BS, and you'll never miss an episode. So, thank you for your support and your question Inside. I hope you're enjoying the Patreon experience. You too can get the Patreon experience by clicking on that orange button. And click here to see a very interesting episode that talks about China's organ harvesting of prisoners of conscience hidden in a video game called RimWorld. Let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.